Have you ever taken a simple bite of bread thinking it was harmless, only to discover later that the very food you trusted may have been quietly damaging your kidneys every single day? I'm Dr. Johnny, and I need to tell you something most people never hear until it's far too late. Right now, at this exact moment, millions of Americans are eating a type of bread that silently raises creatinine overloads, the kidneys, and pushes their GFR into the danger zone. Yet they feel completely normal with no symptoms, no pain, and no warning sign to tell them they're heading toward chronic kidney disease or even dialysis. That's the terrifying part. Kidney damage doesn't tap you on the shoulder. It creeps in silently, and by the time you finally notice swelling, fatigue, or nighttime urination, up to 70% of your kidney function may already be gone. But here's the hope, because while certain breads can destroy your kidneys, without you knowing there are others powerful enough to lower creatinine, protect your filtration units, and support kidney healing with every single slice. And today I'm going to reveal the 4 breads that do exactly that, backed by clear nutrients, real mechanisms, and simple ways to use them so your kidneys can finally breathe again. And as we move through this, I want you to notice something. The more you understand what the wrong bread can do, the more the right bread becomes not just a food choice, but a lifeline your kidneys have been begging for in silence. Sprouted whole grain bread is one of those foods people overlook because it looks so simple, so ordinary, so predictable. But when you understand what happens inside your kidneys after every bite, it suddenly becomes one of the most powerful tools you can use to lower creatinine and protect your filtration units. And this isn't theory. This is something I've watched unfold hundreds of times with my own patients. I still remember Michael, a 62-year-old retired construction manager who came to me terrified after his creatinine jumped from 1.8 to 2.3 in just 3 months. He blamed red meat, coffee, even stress. But when we reviewed his daily habits, something shocking appeared. He was eating refined white bread every single morning, thinking it was harmless because it was low protein. What he didn't realize is that white bread spikes inflammation, destabilizes blood sugar, and increases glomerular pressure, 3 silent forces that push creatinine higher without warning. When I switched him to sprouted whole grain bread, everything changed. Within 8 weeks, his creatinine dropped to 1.9, his GFR climbed from 36 to 42, and his albumin to creatinine ratio improved by almost 18%. He didn't change his entire diet, just his bread. The secret behind sprouted bread is what happens before the grain becomes bread. When grains are allowed to sprout, enzymes break down anti-nutrients that normally burden the kidneys while unlocking B vitamins, magnesium, and plant enzymes that support filtration. One slice, just 40 grams, delivers around 130 calories, 5 grams of protein, 22 grams of slow-burning carbs, and 2 grams of fiber. That fiber alone does something extraordinary for kidney patients. It reduces systemic inflammation, slows creatinine accumulation, and helps stabilize GFR by improving gut flora, which directly affects toxin processing. Most people don't realize this, but up to 30% of creatinine management happens in the gut, not just the kidneys, which means anything that strengthens gut health instantly lightens kidney workload. Sprouted bread also carries B1, B3, and B6 tiny vitamins with massive impact. B3 supports energy production in kidney cells, B6 calms inflammation, and B1 helps stabilize nerve and muscle function, reducing the creatinine spikes that happen after high-carb meals. And then there's magnesium, 45 milligrammes per slice, one of the most underrated minerals for anyone with CKD. Magnesium relaxes blood vessels, lowers intraglomerular pressure, and helps kidneys filter more efficiently without overworking. That's why patients often feel lighter or less fatigued after switching to sprouted bread. Their kidneys finally get a break. And there's another hidden advantage. The protein in sprouted bread is modest and easier to digest, meaning it feeds muscles without overwhelming the kidneys. Many kidney patients lose muscle due to protein restrictions, but sprouted bread provides essential amino acids that help maintain strength without creating waste buildup. It's the balance kidney patients desperately need, but rarely find. But understanding nutrients alone isn't what changes lives, it's how you use them. The best way to eat sprouted bread is in the morning, lightly toasted, paired with kidney-friendly choices like mashed avocado, cucumber slices, or egg whites. This combination stabilizes blood sugar, prevents sodium overload, and gives your kidneys a steady, predictable workload instead of sudden spikes. And while the bread is incredibly protective over eating, it can still cause potassium or phosphorus increases. That's why the safe dose is 1 to 2 slices per day, controlled, consistent, kidney-friendly. Now here's where most people make a huge mistake. They believe switching bread is enough on its own. But sprouted bread works best as part of a larger shift, one that reduces inflammation, supports gut health, and stabilizes creatinine production. And if you understand how this bread protects your kidneys quietly, slice after slice, you'll realize something important. Food can either become your daily medicine or your daily poison, and the difference often hides in the tiniest details. But knowing this alone is not enough, because what comes next isn't just another healthy bread. It's a type that quietly supports your kidneys in a completely different way, one that most people ignore until their creatinine is already climbing. And missing it could mean losing a powerful chance to protect your GFR before it drops any further. Light rye bread without seeds or nuts is one of the most misunderstood foods for people trying to lower creatinine. It doesn't look flashy, it doesn't scream superfood, but when it comes to kidney protection, light rye quietly does something remarkable. It gives your kidneys the breathing room they desperately need. And the reason most people overlook it is simple. They assume rye is too strong, too heavy, or too high in minerals. But light rye is different. It's gentler, easier on the kidneys, and surprisingly powerful at keeping creatinine stable. One of my patients, Linda, a 58-year-old grandmother with stage 3 CKD, learned this the hard way. She switched from white bread to dark-seeded rye, thinking she was making a healthier choice. But her potassium shot up from 4.8 to 5.6, her creatinine went from 1.9 to 2.1, and she felt constantly bloated. She was doing everything right, but her bread was silently working against her. When I moved her to light rye, no seeds, no nuts, everything changed. Within 6 weeks, her potassium normalized, her creatinine dropped back under 2.0, and her GFR rose from 38 to 41. She told me, "Dr. Johnny, I didn't know bread could feel like medicine." And honestly, that's exactly how light rye works when you choose the correct version. Every slice of light rye is designed to be easier on your kidneys. With around 100 calories, 3 grams of protein, 20 grams of slow-release carbohydrates, and just 1.5 grams of fiber, it delivers energy without overwhelming your filtration system. The fiber may seem modest, but it quietly stabilizes blood sugar and reduces inflammatory load, 2 critical factors in preventing creatinine spikes. And unlike dark rye, which can carry 150–200 millimoles of potassium light, rye contains a much gentler 75 millimoles per slice, avoiding the hidden mineral overload that so many kidney patients unknowingly face. The B vitamins in rye do something else extraordinary. B1 supports nerve signaling, B3 helps regulate cholesterol and metabolism, and B6 reduces oxidative stress inside the kidney's delicate filtering units. These tiny nutrients act like microscopic shields protecting nephrons from inflammation. Add to that 35 millimoles of magnesium and a steady dose of iron and zinc, and you suddenly have a bread that doesn't just avoid harming the kidneys, it actively supports them. But the real magic happens when you pair light rye with the right foods. A simple combination like mashed avocado egg whites or a thin layer of almond butter gives you healthy fats and kidney-safe protein without sodium overload. Rye's slow-burning carbs keep your blood sugar steady throughout the morning, preventing the creatinine jumps that happen when glucose surges and the kidneys scramble to filter metabolic byproducts. And this matters more than most people realize. Unstable blood sugar is one of the top hidden drivers of declining GFR. Light rye also supports gut health, which plays an underappreciated role in kidney function. Studies show that improving the microbiome can reduce uremic toxins by up to 20%, giving the kidneys a lighter workload throughout the day. That's why so many patients report better digestion, less bloating, and more stable lab results after switching to this bread. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Light rye works best in smaller portions, 1 to 2 slices per day, because it gives the kidneys a gentle, predictable nutrient load. More than 4 slices may increase potassium or phosphorus unexpectedly, especially for people with moderate CKD. And pairing it with salty foods like bacon or deli meats is one of the fastest ways to undo all its benefits. If you've ever had a breakfast sandwich that tasted amazing but left you bloated or thirsty afterward, that was your body trying to balance the sodium hit. So as simple as it seems, light rye bread becomes a strategic tool when used correctly. One slice in the morning can help stabilize your creatinine curve for the entire day. One sandwich at lunch can support your GFR instead of dragging it down. And one small change in bread choice can mean the difference between kidneys fighting alone or kidneys finally having an ally. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next type of bread doesn't just support kidney function, it protects you from one of the most dangerous silent threats hiding in modern diets. And most people have no idea their daily bread is loaded with it. And once you understand this threat, you'll never look at bread the same way again. If there's one bread that surprises people the most, it's low protein, low salt white bread without phosphate additives. It doesn't look special, it doesn't come with a fancy health label, and it certainly doesn't have the healthy reputation that whole grains do. But when it comes to kidney protection, this bread has a secret superpower. It removes one of the most dangerous kidney-killing ingredients hiding in our food system: phosphate additives. These chemical phosphates are absorbed almost instantly into the bloodstream, flooding the kidneys in a way natural phosphorus never does. And for someone with reduced kidney function, that flood can push creatinine higher, destabilize GFR, and silently accelerate the path toward dialysis. I remember a patient named Rebecca, a 66-year-old retired teacher, who felt defeated after every appointment because no matter what she cut out, salt, red meat, sugar, her creatinine kept creeping higher. It wasn't until we reviewed her pantry that we discovered the real problem. The bread she ate every morning listed phosphate 3 different times on the ingredient label. She had no idea. Most people don't. When she switched to low-protein, low-salt white bread with 0 phosphate additives, the results were almost immediate. Within 5 weeks, her creatinine dropped from 2.5 to 2.2, her phosphorus levels normalized, and her GFR rose from 32 to 37. She cried in my office because for the first time in years, her labs were moving in the right direction, and all we changed was the bread. This bread works because it's intentionally gentle. Each slice has about 90 calories, only 2 grams of protein, and very low sodium, under 50 millimoles. That means your kidneys don't have to process heavy protein waste or manage dangerous sodium surges. Instead, they get a predictable, low-stress nutrient load. And the soluble fiber in this bread does something incredible. It binds toxins inside the gut, reducing uremic byproducts before they even reach your kidneys. Studies show that soluble fiber can reduce creatinine-related toxins by up to 15%, which explains why so many kidney patients feel less bloated, less fatigued, and more stable after switching. But the real brilliance of this bread lies in what it doesn't contain. No phosphate additives, no hidden mineral spikes, no surprise potassium load. That safety profile alone makes it one of the smartest choices for anyone trying to protect kidney function. The added selenium, 8 micrograms per slice, acts like a shield against oxidative stress inside the nephrons. Manganese helps regulate carbohydrate metabolism, preventing blood sugar spikes that would force the kidneys into overdrive. And the trace copper in each slice strengthens antioxidant defenses, which is crucial since oxidative stress is one of the primary drivers of declining GFR. The best way to use this bread is simple: keep it light. A kidney-friendly veggie wrap with roasted pepper, zucchini, or a thin smear of avocado gives you flavor without overwhelming the kidneys. Pairing it with egg whites or light ricotta offers clean protein without phosphorus overload. And eating it in the mid-morning or early afternoon allows your kidneys to process nutrients more efficiently, avoiding nighttime filtration strain. But portion control matters. 1 to 2 slices per day is ideal. More than 3 or 4 may cause subtle fluid or mineral imbalance, especially for those with stage 3 or 4 CKD. This is the bread for people whose kidneys need gentleness, predictability, and relief. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. And it's often the turning point for patients who feel like nothing else is working. When you give your kidneys a break from phosphate additives, dangerous sodium levels, and heavy proteins, you finally let them heal the way they have been trying to all along. But even this isn't the full picture, because the next type of bread doesn't just lighten the kidney's workload, it actively protects the filtration units at a cellular level. And missing that final piece could be the difference between slowing kidney decline or watching it accelerate when you least expect it. And that brings us to the final bread, the one most people think they already understand, yet almost everyone gets wrong. Low-sodium whole wheat bread is often seen as the safe choice, but what makes the right version of this bread so powerful is not just the fiber or the whole grains. It's the unique blend of nutrients that quietly protect your kidneys at the cellular level. This bread doesn't work like the others. Instead of simply reducing the kidney's workload, it actively supports the health of the filtration membranes, the very structures responsible for keeping creatinine, urea, and toxins out of your bloodstream. I remember a patient named Harold, a 71-year-old former engineer, who believed whole wheat bread was automatically healthy, but the version he was eating contained nearly 300 milligrams of sodium per slice, far more than his kidneys could handle. His creatinine began to climb, his ankles swelled, and he felt exhausted after the smallest tasks. When we switched him to low-sodium whole wheat bread, the kind with under 100 milliliters of sodium, things shifted. Within 2 months, his creatinine dropped from 2.1 to 1.8, his GFR rose from 39 to 45, and he told me I didn't know bread could make me feel lighter. But that lightness wasn't in his head. It was his kidneys finally catching a break. Every slice of low-sodium whole wheat bread contains a trio of nutrients that work like a quiet defense system: fiber, omega-3, plant fats, and antioxidants. The 3 grams of fiber slow digestion, regulate blood sugar, and bind toxins in the gut before they reach the bloodstream. That's crucial because blood sugar spikes can overwhelm the kidneys, causing creatinine to rise. Then there's alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 that reduces inflammation inside kidney tissue. Inflammation is one of the biggest silent threats to kidney function, and ALA helps calm it down in a way few foods can. Whole wheat bread also contains folate, which supports red blood cell production. The reason that matters is because anemia, low red blood cell count, is common in kidney patients, and it forces the kidneys to work harder just to maintain oxygen flow. With every bit of extra folate, the kidneys get a little relief. And then we have the phytosterols and lignans, powerful plant compounds that lower oxidative stress and help protect the glomeruli, the microscopic filters where creatinine is processed. When those filters stay healthy, creatinine stays stable, and GFR improves naturally. But like every food, the magic only happens when you use it the right way. Low-sodium whole wheat bread works best early in the day when your metabolism is steady and your kidneys can process nutrients without nighttime strain. A simple combination like mashed avocado cucumber slices or lightly steamed spinach provides antioxidants and hydration that support kidney function. Pairing it with egg whites gives you a clean protein source without phosphorus overload, and eating slowly, chewing well, and keeping portions to 1 or 2 slices per day helps prevent unexpected potassium or phosphorus increases. What surprises people most is that whole wheat bread is not just a source of energy, it can become a protective shield. The combination of fiber, antioxidants, omega-3 fats, and low sodium creates a metabolic environment that's gentle on the kidneys, reducing inflammation, supporting filtration, and promoting long-term kidney stability. It's not just healthier bread, it's a strategic choice for anyone who wants to lower creatinine without giving up the foods they love. But even with all of these benefits, there's a deeper truth people rarely hear. Bread alone won't save your kidneys. It's how you use it, how you balance it, and how you combine it with the rest of your daily habits that determines whether your kidneys stay stable or continue to decline. And that final piece, the one almost nobody talks about, is what we need to look at next. Because knowing this alone isn't enough, since there is still one more factor, quiet, dangerous, and often ignored, that can undo everything you've learned so far. And understanding it may be the difference between slowing kidney disease or watching it accelerate without warning. Even though choosing the right bread can dramatically reduce kidney stress, there's one more factor that quietly decides whether your creatinine drops or stays stubbornly high no matter what you eat. It's what happens in the first hour after you wake up, a window of time where your kidneys are either pushed into overdrive or gently guided into healing mode. Most people never think about it, but this morning, Kidney Ritual can amplify the benefits of sprouted bread, light, rye, low protein, white bread, and low-sodium whole wheat bread more than any topping supplement or diet hack. I'll never forget Daniel, a 64-year-old truck driver whose creatinine had refused to budge for almost a year. He switched his bread, reduced his sodium, improved his protein choices, you name it, he tried it. Yet his creatinine hovered around 2.4 and his GFR stayed stuck at 33. When I asked him what he did in the first hour of his day, he shrugged and said, I wake up, grab my bread, grab my coffee, and I'm out. That was the problem. His kidneys were being thrown into the day without support, like asking a tired engine to run at full speed the moment you turn the key. The kidneys react strongly to what happens right after waking. Cortisol is naturally elevated at that time, meaning fluid balance, blood pressure, and filtration pressure are extremely sensitive. If you drink nothing, eat too quickly, or spike your blood sugar too fast, your creatinine can rise by late morning without you even noticing. So I gave Daniel a simple morning ritual: hydrate with 200-300 milliliters of room temperature water, wait at least 10 minutes, then eat his kidney-friendly bread with a controlled combination of protein and healthy fats. Within 6 weeks, his creatinine dropped from 2.4 to 2.1 and his GFR improved to 36. He told me, I didn't think something this small could matter. But the kidneys notice every detail. Science backs this up. Studies show that morning hydration can improve renal plasma flow by 10–14%, giving kidneys a head start before any food is processed. Stable hydration levels reduce intraglomerular pressure spikes and help prevent sudden creatinine fluctuations, especially in older adults. Eating slowly in the morning decreases post-meal glucose surges, which can otherwise trigger inflammatory pathways linked to worsening kidney function. And pairing bread with gentle proteins like egg whites or low-fat ricotta prevents the nitrogen waste buildup that normally stresses filtration units. But what really ties this ritual together is the predictable nutrient timing. When you eat your kidney-friendly bread after hydrating, your gut absorbs nutrients more steadily, your blood sugar rises more gradually, and your kidneys experience a smooth, controlled workload. That predictability is golden for kidney protection. The morning ritual acts like a buffer system, preventing the sharp creatinine spikes that happen when people rush through breakfast or eat while dehydrated. And there's something else people rarely realize: kidneys hate chaos. Erratic eating patterns, skip breakfasts, late morning sugar crashes, all of these silently strain filtration. But when you anchor your morning with hydration, slow chewing, low sodium bread, and clean protein, your kidneys operate in a calm, steady rhythm. It's the difference between sprinting uphill with no warm-up and walking on stable ground with every step planned out. This ritual also interacts beautifully with gut health. The fiber in whole wheat and sprouted bread feeds beneficial bacteria that reduce toxins like P-cresol and indoxyl sulfate, two compounds strongly linked to rising creatinine. When your gut is balanced, your kidneys don't have to scramble to clear metabolic waste. It's like having a teammate instead of carrying the entire load alone. But the part that surprises most people is how quickly the kidneys respond. Sometimes within a week, patients report clearer energy, lighter pressure around the lower back, fewer nighttime bathroom trips, and more stable blood pressure. These signals are your body saying, thank you, I can breathe again. And while this morning ritual may sound simple, it's one of the most overlooked tools in the entire kidney healing process. Bread can support your kidneys, nutrients can calm inflammation, and hydration can improve filtration. But when you combine them in the right sequence at the right time of day, they become exponentially more powerful. But knowing this still isn't enough, because the final truth, the one almost nobody talks about, is what determines whether all your effort leads to real improvement or gets undone by a single hidden force that affects every kidney patient. And that last piece could completely change how you protect your kidneys moving forward. What most people don't realize, even after switching their bread, adjusting their sodium, drinking more water, and following every kidney-friendly rule, is that one silent habit can erase all their progress without them even noticing. It's something I see almost every week in my clinic: patients doing everything right in terms of food, but their creatinine still refuses to drop. And when I dig deeper, I always find the same hidden culprit: late-night kidney overload. Late evening eating may feel harmless, especially when the meal is healthy, but your kidneys don't see it that way. After 8 or 9 p.m., filtration slows naturally. Blood pressure drops, hormones shift. the kidneys switch into what I call maintenance mode, where they're supposed to rest, reset, and prepare for the next day. But when you eat late, even a simple snack, you force the kidneys back into full filtration at the exact time they're trying to recover. That constant disruption is one of the fastest ways to raise creatinine without changing a single thing about your diet. One of my patients, Sandra, a 60-year-old accountant, struggled with this for years. She ate the right bread, the right breakfast, and followed the morning ritual perfectly. But she often worked late and didn't eat dinner until almost 10 p.m. Her creatinine hovered stubbornly around 2.0, and her GFR never rose above 38. When she finally committed to moving her last meal to 6:30 p.m., the shift was dramatic. Her creatinine dropped to 1.7 within 8 weeks, and her GFR rose to 43. She told me, "I didn't change my meals, I just changed the time I ate them." And that's exactly the point. Timing can be more powerful than ingredients. Science explains why this happens. Studies show that kidney filtration rate drops by 15–20% during the late evening as the body transitions toward restoration mode. If you force your kidneys to process sodium, protein, carbs, and water during this period, you increase glomerular pressure and trigger oxidative stress inside the filtration membranes. That stress causes microinflammation, which raises creatinine overnight. Many patients wake up thinking they slept poorly, when in reality their kidneys spent the night overworking instead of healing. That's why adjusting your eating window can dramatically magnify the benefits of the 4 breads we talked about. When your kidneys rest overnight, they filter more effectively in the morning. That means fewer creatinine spikes, smoother GFR readings, and more predictable lab results. In fact, patients who avoid eating after 7 p.m. often see a 5–10% improvement in creatinine within just 4 to 6 weeks. The earlier evening eating helps stabilize blood pressure, supports hormonal balance, and reduces nighttime urination, another sign of kidney overload. Think of your kidneys like a set of delicate filters that need hours of downtime to reset. If you constantly interrupt that healing window with late meals or snacks, you never give them the chance to repair. But when you shift your last meal to earlier in the evening, something almost magical happens. Digestion calms, inflammation drops, and your kidneys finally get the rest they've been begging for. And here's the part most people overlook. This simple shift doesn't require giving up your favorite foods or starving yourself. It just requires moving your dinner earlier. Pairing that with a steady morning ritual and kidney-friendly bread creates a full cycle of support, morning nourishment, daytime stability, and nighttime healing. It's a 24-hour rhythm your kidneys respond to beautifully. But even this powerful insight is only one piece of the bigger puzzle. Because as crucial as timing is, there's still one more factor, quiet, dangerous, and often ignored, that determines whether your kidneys continue improving or whether hidden stress keeps pushing your creatinine higher even when you're doing everything right. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because what comes next could be the difference between slowing kidney decline or unknowingly accelerating it. And most people never hear about it until it's too late. If you've made it this far, I want you to remember one thing. Your kidneys are not giving up on you, and you don't have to give up on them. Every small choice you make, every better slice of bread, every calmer morning ritual, every ounce of stress you release brings your kidneys one step closer to healing. You are not alone in this journey. I see you. I understand the fear behind rising creatinine numbers, and I want you to know that improvement is possible even when it feels out of reach. If this video gave you clarity or hope, please make sure to save it so you can come back to these steps whenever you need them. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because I share the newest, most practical medical guidance to help you protect your kidneys, lower creatinine, and stay out of the dialysis chair. When you subscribe, you're not just joining a channel, you're joining a community of people fighting for their health just like you, and I'm here every week to guide you through it. And before you go, hold on to this: kidneys can heal more than most people ever realize. The human body has an incredible ability to repair when you give it the right support, the right rhythm, and the right care. So keep going. Keep choosing the foods that love your kidneys back. Keep believing in every small improvement. And keep trusting that your best days are still ahead of you, because they are. I'm Dr. Johnny, and I'm here with you every step of the way. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and I'll see you in the next video.